Hey everyone, and welcome back to Just Meeple and Me, a solo gaming channel here on YouTube. And today I am doing an unboxing of a game that's not new at all. It's actually quite a few years old. I believe it was released in 2014. But I want to give this game some love because I really think it should be more popular than it is. It does a lot of things right. You know, I played this version before, I played the DICE version before, and Amazon a few weeks ago, had a great sale on this and another game that I will probably be doing an unboxing here soon, and I ordered them both, and here it is. This is Nations. Now, Rahdo obviously does a lot of great videos. His run-throughs are amazing, and when he was doing his final thoughts on this game, he called it much better than Through the Ages. He said it replaced Through the Ages for him. And that's saying a lot because that game is number 3 on Board Game Geek currently. And yet this game is not even in the top 100. And that disappoints me because this game does a lot right. Like I said, it takes a lot of the elements of Through the Ages, cleans them up. As Rahdo said, it's not Through the Ages light, it's Through the Ages elegant. That's an exact quote from him, and I have to agree. I think Through the Ages had a lot of mechanics that were kind of rough around the edges. That game takes a lot of table space. There's a lot of downtime in between turns. And this game streamlines it while keeping the complexity of Through the Ages. This is a mid to heavy Euro game. It has a solo mode. But I really just want to give this game some more love and see if I can get some more excitement about this game and what this game has to offer. And see if we can get it into the top 100 here. Because I really do think that this game has a lot to offer, and I would love to see more expansions, but obviously, if no one's playing it, no one's buying it, game producers are not going to invest their time and energy into it. So here we go, Nations, and right away you can see beautiful looking cover art. We got some of the major leaders of the world through different time periods. You see old Lincoln there. You got different soldiers, Huns. You see pyramids. You see ships. You see a lot of good stuff. You see Big Ben on the far left there. So this game is just that. It represents nations, and you are building your empire, your military, your economy. You have to manage your populations. I forget what the word is, but you know, basically if they like you or not, and then all actions have consequences and cost things. So there's a lot to balance out here, but as I said, it is done in a streamlined fashion, which I think makes it more manageable than Through the Ages, and takes a lot of the frustrating elements of Through the Ages and tosses them right out the window. Like, you don't pay penalties for having too many goods and things like that. So I'm going to get this game repositioned, and then we're just going to showcase all the components here. Here we go. Alright guys, right on top here, the first thing we see is the rule book. Okay, and this is everything you're going to need to know how to play. There's a little summary on the back with all the different phases of the game. The actual rule book itself comes in at 23 pages. Right away in the back there is the one-player solo variant. So I'm just going to read the introduction here. From the humble beginnings of civilization through the historic ages of progress, mankind has lived, fought, and built together in nations. Great nations protect and provide for their own while fighting and competing against both other nations and nature itself. Nations must provide food and stability as the population increases. They must build a productive economy, and all the while they must amaze the world with their great achievements and build up their heritage to become the greatest nation in the history of mankind. And that stability, what I was talking about. You have to manage your population stability. You know, if you make it too unstable, they can revolt against you. Obviously, that's not going to be good. A little overview of what we should be finding in the box. You know, it has a game board, it has the card drafting area, and then each player would have their own game board as well. So if you are doing a multiplayer of this game, this does take up a little bit of table space, but for solo version, it is quite manageable on a standard card table. So, okay. So here we go. Right after that, things to punch. And these represent our tokens for food, for stone, our victory points, our wealth or gold, whatever the terminology in the game is. We have other little tokens there. Double-sided. Again, you got a round summary punch out there. And then next, this is the card drafting board. So this is not a player board, but this is where different cards that you will be playing with, and they're different levels, you know, rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. And this is how you're going to build and draft your nation and grow it. So this is a little bit of tableau building, of card drafting mechanics into it. So more things to punch. All right. So we got more rule summaries for each player. This is the game board. And this is where you're going to track your wealth, your stability. See, your nation can revolt against you. You can track your military strength. These are your culture points. Okay. Now this game has scaling difficulty. You can choose to start with different difficulty levels, and different players can select different difficulty, which I think is a really cool part of this game. So if you're playing against somebody who's played this game 1,000 times, and it's your first time, you can play as chieftain and get a little head start on some resources and things, and they can play as king or emperor, which kind of makes it a more even matched game because it's going to be tougher for them to get things going as their starting resources are a lot less than you. So you can scale the difficulty and kind of make it a fun game no matter the experience of the players. Obviously, if we're playing solo mode, you know, if it's our first game, we can start here and then challenge the Shadow Kingdom, the Shadow Nation, through various levels of difficulty. But I thought that was a cool little feature of this game. We have our player boards, more player card overlays, and they are two-sided. So this side, this is the A side, this makes it a symmetrical game. This is everybody has basically all the same. There would be no differences. But on the back side, each nation has a special ability that they can use. And that adds some different play styles throughout the game. But you're going to have this in front of you, and you're going to be placing and building cards on here. You're going to be activating those cards to produce resources, which you can spend to then activate or build other cards. So there's a lot going on in this game. So we have the nation of Egypt. We have Greece. You can play as Rome, China, and Persia. Now there is an expansion out, which I have not actually bought yet, but it adds several more nations, I think including America, Russia, England, things like that, that again has two-sided player boards and adds a lot more variety and replayability to the game. So there's that. One more thing to punch. Very similar to what we've seen before. Okay. And then we got a bag of meeples. All different colors. And these are standard worker meeples. They all look alike. But these are who you're going to be employing tasks to do. And the more meeples you have, the more food it costs. It's harder to keep a high population stable. So a lot of things you have to balance. But then these meeples can be used. So you can send them to different cards to activate them. Things like that. So also some worker placement mechanics in this game, along with the card drafting, tableau building aspects of it. Rolled up back to store stuff so we can separate the different components. We have a scorecard, double-sided. Keep record of our victories and our failures. And we have mini cards, little guys. And these are the cards that you are going to be drafting and employing to build and run your nation. Alright, here's just a little overview of the cards themselves. Looks like we got some event cards. I'm not sure what each color is, but you can see they give different bonuses and different effects. There's different types of cards. I think the red is military. That gives you different bonuses. We'll have to read the instructions to see what each of these region symbols mean. So definitely a lot going on here. And one of the things that Rahdo also said that he liked about this game is that, you know, there's actually a lot of cards here. There's 3 packs of these tiny guys, but that's still a lot right there. Is that obviously, you know, the cards are never going to come out in the same order, and in some games you might not see certain cards. While in 3D Ages, he said, you know, once you've played it, because that game was so long, typically by game's end, even through the order changes, you will see pretty much every card that's available in the game. So you can still build strategies on waiting for that certain card to come out and things like that. You can't do that in Nations because you never know what card's going to come out, and you're probably never going to see all the cards in a single playthrough. So that's a cool little difference and bonus there. Go ahead and just open up one more pack here. And we should have some more of the same with military. You can draft leaders. They give you bonuses. So a very similar game to 3D Ages. In fact, the creator of 3D Ages actually consulted with the developers of this game and kind of helped them out on a few things. So almost, I don't want to say he gave them his blessing, but he definitely wasn't against them producing this, and he was helping fine-tune it and giving them some ideas and mechanics. And I said, these developers who made this game, as I really did streamline it, made it more elegant, and it still creates a very challenging game. This is a medium to heavyweight game. They do have a dice version, which is more of a light to medium weight game. It's good for just starting out. Young people, younger kids, 13, 14 can play it, maybe not get bored. So there is almost like an intro version to this game as well. But you can see lots of cards, lots of variety. And I've heard from other reviews, and I would have to agree just for my couple times I've played this, is that, you know, it can be brutal if you mess up early. You know, this, just because it's a more elegant, more streamlined version of 3D Ages does not mean that it's not unforgiving if you completely make a mistake. So there is a lot of challenges to this, but also what I liked, you know, and also from what Rahdo said, is the downtime is a lot less in between turns. You take one action, then the next person. Like with 3D Ages, you take 6 actions, so you're thinking and creates a lot of downtime. If you're playing a multiplayer game, it could be ages before you see your turn again. But in this game, it's back and forth, constant. Now for solo mode, we don't have to worry about that because we're always going to be executing these actions. There is an event deck for solo mode. I don't know if some of these cards in here are marked for solo, but that event deck is special for solo mode. And when you cycle through the event deck, that's going to trigger different effects that you have to overcome, or it might raise or lower certain portions or things like that. So there is a little bit of a AI to this game that you're competing against. It's not just get a high score. There are events that will challenge you and things like that. So guys, I really do encourage you guys to check this out. If you're not 100% sure this game's for you, on Tabletopia there is the dice version of this game is there. I know Tabletopia is maybe not the best digital medium for playing games, but it could give you a little bit of a taste of the action. But this is a great game. This is a game that I really do feel like should be ranked a lot higher than it is, and I would love to see more people playing this game. I've had a lot of fun with it the few times I've done it. I'm excited now that I've owned it. Now that I've got it unboxed, I'll be playing it at home. Maybe I'll shoot a solo run through, maybe I won't. We'll see. But that is the unboxing of Nation. So until next time, guys, it'll just be Meeple and me.